Well, Andrea Leadsom is in David Cameron's government, but on Europe she is fundamentally at odds with her boss. A pretty combative performance from the Prime Minister tonight. Some very tough questions, but he did have some tough responses, suggesting that we are not quitters as a nation. He did quite well, didn't he?
Well, I certainly think he's at his best on this kind of format, but I think the real problem for the evening was how weak the case is for Remain. You know, the real problem that was very difficult, impossible to answer is how can you ever stop uncontrollable immigration from the European Union from harming wages and, you know, school places and doctor's appointments and so on here in the UK whilst we remain in the European Union. And also, you know, frankly, on issues around the economy, although, you know, the Prime Minister is absolutely a past master at this format, again, he wasn't really able to make the case for why we'd be worse off financially if we leave the EU. And so for me, as somebody who passionately believes we'll be better off if we leave the EU, I feel that it was quite a bad evening for the Remain campaign.
He talked about economic self-harm, though. Is that something that the Leave campaign can really answer? What are your answers to the problems that he poses, for example, on not having access to this huge single market of 500 million people?
Well, the truth is that the rest of the world has about 5.5 billion people, and 80% of the world's economies are not in the EU and not in the single market, and of course they are trading not as a part of the European Union. So the US exports more to the EU than the UK does, and Singapore negotiates free trade agreements in an average of 22 months. You know, the truth is that the UK is exporting less and less to the EU. It is holding us back. If we leave, there is such a bright future for us.
He did say he was making some new friends. Is there a danger, though, that he's made some pretty powerful enemies within the Conservative Party, that you can't heal these wounds after this is all over?
Well, I just don't agree with that. You know, I think we're all bigger than that. I mean, there's always a few people who aren't happy with the status quo, but we're all absolutely committed. This is an intellectual discussion. The Prime Minister himself told us all to go with our hearts and do what's best for our country.
Pretty feisty intellectual discussion.
It certainly is.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Interesting to see what Michael Gove from your side has to say tomorrow.